one and pass it on for family. Did everybody get an endowment and a mission report? That wants one?
We need a mission.
You got a mission? Oh, you got one. Oh, you on a mission?
No, you have that.
You got this. You need a mission report?
We need mission back. One more.
One more?
This is the endowment.
Oh, you have another one.
That's the ones that they all have. I think they're looking.
Missions over here.
Yeah, they need this one.
Give me mission. Here's mine. I'll give you another.
Whatever you're handing out, you're
Another mission. Does everyone have an endowment and a mission and an annual report? Three separate.
No, we got two.
Come on, Victor. You were forgiven, 95.
Do whatever I want for them.
Okay, good morning, and thank you for coming to the annual meeting. I hope this tie isn't a distraction. It seems to be this morning. I've had a lot of comments about it. I didn't mean to cause a distraction. I'll call the meeting to order. Let the record show that it was posted in accordance with our Constitution and announced before at the two Sundays previous. Also, I need a show of hands. As Pastor alluded to earlier today, a voting member is a member of this congregation that has communed and given either financially or in time, in the past year, so in 2023. So I need to have a show of hands of all of those of you that meet that criteria. Okay, the reason I have to ask that is that let the record show that we do have in excess of 20, which is required for a quorum. Pastor Sterling,
Yeah.
could you start us with a prayer?
Oh, I thought it was done. Okay.
Just something to get us started.
Hey, good morning, God. I know you're not tired of hearing from us this morning. We're going to give you an extra hour of attention and prayer. We are so grateful for this community, that we have family and we have friends here, and we find a place to gather here and be safe and to debate, and no matter where it is, to find love. No matter where we are in our lives or whatever happening in the world, and we're so grateful for that. Hey, God, I don't know if meetings are our favorite thing. So please send your Holy Spirit into us and into this place so that we can make wise decisions, decisions in line with your values, decisions that you would like us to do, and how, as we talked about this morning, how we can be prophets in your name through our ministry here. We pray this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Sterling. Just a couple of housekeeping things, if you will. Please show, if you'd like to speak, please stand if you can. Say your name. That's helped Sheila. Sheila is filling in for Joan this morning because, like Pastor said, they went somewhere warm like Antarctica. And so if you could just state your name so that she can get that for the record. And then please be polite and listen to what other folks have to say. Then I need an approval of the agenda. The agenda is found on the, right inside the front cover of your.
So moved.
Bill Schleicher?
Second.
Paul Knutson seconded. I have a motion to approve the agenda. Is there any further discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The agenda is approved. Next item is the approval of the annual meeting minutes from last year. Those are found about 3/4 of the way back in. No, they're actually right in the front of your annual report from January 29th of last year. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Bill?
Second by Peggy Benson.
Motion by Bill Schleicher, Peggy Benson seconded. I have a motion to approve the minutes of the last annual meeting. Is there any further discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion is carried. The next it's a list of most of the committees and stuff that do ministry here. And I think that's a beauty of this annual report. If you look at that and look at those reports, I really encourage you to read that, because I don't think, otherwise you have no idea how much goes on here. I mean, there is a lot going on, and there's a lot of people involved. But we still need more. I know worship committee could use a few more people on that because they've lost some members. Lorraine retired, so that left a big hole. So if you're kind of wondering about what goes into this worship service, and it's a lot, you cannot appreciate what goes into having the music and the bulletins and the PowerPoints and the decorations and the colors and the communion elements. It's a big, there's a lot. So we need some help with that. So is there anyone that would like to expand on the report that they've submitted in writing? Then we'll move to new business, the audit review report for 2023. Thank you to Cindy, Sonia, Ruth for getting that done. I believe their report is in the annual report as well. Are any of those members here today? Ruth, is there anything you want to add to that?
No.
No? Okay. We appreciate that. That's a big job. It's a requirement. We send a copy of that to the Synod. It has to be in by March 31st. So, thank you for getting that done. There was a couple of items that we need to work on, but otherwise, it appears we've kind of come and got some of the things from the past corrected, and they said it was much easier this year. So, again, thank you for doing that. With that, the audit committee appointment, the council does that, but I like to have the nominations from here. And it's my understanding that Cindy Johnson, her term is up on that. It's a 3-year term. And she has agreed to continue on. So if I could have a motion to nominate Cindy.
Bill, I have a question. Would
Yep.
you double check our constitution? I was thinking they had to be all 3 years. Maybe wrong.
I did not see that in there.
Okay, good. We're good then.
I met with them and we discussed this. And so I believe we're in all right with our constitution in doing that.
I'll nominate Cindy.
Second. Second by Peggy.
Sue?
First by Sue Plancy.
Okay, I have a motion to nominate Cindy Johnson to the audit committee. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you. And that will be taken up by the council as well. The next item is the budget review and approval. Lyle spent a ton of work on this. He's just an awesome treasurer, puts in a lot of time. I hope you all appreciate what he does here for us at Decorah. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Lyle, and so we can discuss the budget.
Good morning. Good morning. So budgeting is a difficult process, and it became even a more difficult process this year with our giving going down. And so we had to look at the budget even more fiscally responsible. And so when we started looking at this, 75% of our budget is salaries. And so the biggest chunk is salary, and the other biggest chunk is what we send to the Synod. So if you're going to cut your budget or be fiscally responsible, you have to look at those two items. And so that's why you see the pastor's salary did not increase as it has in previous years. And also our administrative assistant or bookkeeper, we did a 50-cent hour raise for the pastor's salary went up 1%, and Oleg's salary went up by 50 cents per hour. So those are the two biggest things that happen within the budget. And so in order to try to sustain our church, we did decide as a council to go from 6% to 5% to giving to the Synod. And that's kind of a hot topic button question about, we would like to give more to the Synod. And I guess my response is, if you want to give more to the Synod, give more on the offering plate. Because then the percent that we give goes to the Synod. Or you can always earmark money to the Synod if you just want it to go to the Synod. I know in the past, we've had members who earmark their money just to a certain cause, so it doesn't go to the Synod. So that's another way that people have given. So it's a whole can of worms about that conversation, and we can have that conversation, that if you'd like to keep it at 6%, the council is open to that, but we just felt like because of the donations going down, we needed to try to keep our spending under a cap, and so that's why we decided to do that. If you have particular questions about the budget. I'll entertain questions. I know that there were some questions about some things that were over budget last year. And the reason why some of those things were over budget, like if you go to hospitality, they go, wow, how did hospitality get so far over budget? I know I had a couple of questions about that from congregation members. Well, we went to a movie as a congregation, and that movie was brought up by the hospitality committee. And so for some reason, the funds that were brought in for that movie, and everybody paid for the movie, so there was really no expense to the congregation. So that money flowed through that hospitality committee. And so the hospitality committee did not overspend. It's just that that $800, over $800 that we took to the movie that day, got funneled through the hospitality account. So don't think hospitality is overspending their budget. Maybe we should have run that through a different account, but for bookkeeping purposes, that's the account it got put through. Worship as well, it was a little over budget, and that again is because the online screens, we have to pay a licensing fee, and so that money went through worship committee, and we felt it was appropriate to go through worship since it's part of worship. So there's two online licenses that we have to have due to the screens, and so one of them was run through worship. And the other one was ran through worship song selection. So you can see why that is a little over budget. So those are those things there. Other than that, the electricity bill went down, and maybe it was because we put in an automatic timer on our lights in the parking lot, and we didn't leave them on 24/7. And so hopefully that we've seen that big a savings through adding that feature. So I guess I'll entertain questions if you have questions about the budget. Yes.
Lyle Ostablanger. Under the administrative expenses, I noticed there wasn't anything in the budget for paper supplies and bulletin paper. Is that somewhere else?
Oleg runs that through, let's see, what account is that? He runs that through the office expenses.
Okay.
Are there any other questions that you have?
Hey, Lyle.
Yes.
Just so, when we send a tithe to the synod, it isn't that we're like, oh, we're just sending money off to those folks. Right? Most of that money to the synod, just so this congregation knows, that since the synod goes to churchwide, which then is then going out to things like Lutheran World Relief and other missions that we also really care about here. That was part of the discussion we had at council, because there was some discussion about we send a percent someplace else, and so on and so forth. It also, it's the support that we get from synod staff when we need that. For example, on Wednesday, the bishop was here because I wasn't able to be here on Wednesday night, and she could fill in for me last minute. That's an example of sort of synod supports and other kind of resources that we get. We get training and all kinds of things from those folks. So I know for us, it's sort of like, well, what is this organization that we're just sort of sending off our money to that sometimes shows up and says, make a character creation plan and do this other stuff. Well, that is sort of the other parts of the church, is our community with other ELCA congregation and our mission partners and other denominations. And it's all that sort of feeding, clothing, blanket, school kit kind of work that gets organized, that we do a lot of the work for, but they organize with those resources. So I want folks to understand that is not, personally I think there's value to that goes out the door. So, and I know that a couple of years ago they came through for us pretty big when I was on leave. And so I know, we talked about this at council, there was a little raw at council also talking about going from 5 to 6. But again, we want to be able to afford going 5 to 6 or 6 to 7, or maybe in the future having an intern again or any of that kind of stuff. It's going to revolve our resources and what we can afford to give and support the mission here. So there's no guilt there, but then we just have to make hard decisions.
And because of our extra giving to Lutheran World Relief, we did have a speaker from Lutheran World Relief. We got on his docket, and he came here because we had given extra. And so I think that was the first time that happened in a long time, too. So kudos to the congregation for the extra giving they give to those places.
If anybody wants a mug, they gave us a mug for our good giving. Oleg has it in his office, he hasn't used it.
Yeah, hold on, yeah. 1% would be about $1,800. Depends upon the giving. It's all dependent on the giving. And it's all taken from just general offering. So if you put money in the offering plate earmarked to Sunday school or earmarked towards something else that doesn't go to the synod, it goes directly to that organization. So,
If there's anyone that would like to step up and pay the $1,800 or $2,000 out of that percent, that's extra, we'd accept that.
if your calling is to give to the synod, you could do that. Or you could take on a bill. Some people said, could I take on the heating bill? Of course you could. You could pay the heating bill if you want to. You know, if you looked up these things and you signed up to take one of those bills, that would be amazing. So,
I did a little math, I know, the union calling. So I was challenged to bike 1,550 miles this year, and folks gave pledges when they pledged earlier. And we are at $1,422.50 if I bike 1,550 miles. So again, there's another opportunity if you want to make your pastor lose some more weight and be healthy and grow that way. There's also an opportunity there.
yep, Jerry?
I make a motion that we approve the budget as presented.
Let me go second.
Discussion.
Approve the budget.
Motion's been made to approve the treasurer's report as presented. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The budget is approved. And please note that the last line on that budget is $27,000. That's the difference between what we took in this year and the proposed budget for next year. So be aware that, you know, we need to raise some extra funds. So the chili supper is coming up, is a fundraiser for that general fund. So you may see more of those, you will see more of those types of things, because I think as this isn't, we aren't alone in this, that through general giving and a collection plate on Sundays, it just isn't meeting budgets. So we have to start thinking a little more outside the box perhaps, and doing some fundraising outside of just the Sunday collection. So please support those when you see them advertised.
And I did put this chart together this year again in your report to show us where you fall in amongst the givers of the church. So you can look at that chart and see where you fall in. And I just want to plug the clothes closet quickly before I get off the stage. I've been out here quite a bit this past month putting together things. And almost every time that I've been out here, someone has come to the clothes closet. So it's unique. And it's great because they just come in, they pop their head in the office and they say, we're on our way to the clothes closet. They just go down, they go through, they take bags of clothes, and it's amazing. So thank you. Thank you for the people that are doing that.
We could use more help.
And do you need more clothes?
There's two of us that are doing it.
Yeah, there's
So, yeah.
We need more ministers to get some of those clothes in the closet, because I'm probably bringing in a bag a month for the last half year or so.
So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, they do a really awesome job, Linda and Bev, with that, you know, sorting them and sizing them and having it organized. It's an awesome little store.
I would like to say that one of the people who watch over the closet is not a member of this congregation. In fact, I think from the beginning, actually, we have had people from the community who have said, this is really wonderful, and I don't want it to close, because I know we considered closing it like that, because whoever was doing it wasn't able to continue.
I think you're gonna hear that a lot today. We need help. Committees need help. As Bill Sliker would say, you know, if that tap happens on your shoulder, please find a ministry that works for you here. I'm sure there's something. The next item is the Constitution revision approval. I did not get that out. It's supposed to be out 30 days in advance. I forgot all about it. So that's gonna have to be tabled. It's nothing it can't wait till next year, I guess. But anyway, that's going. I need to table that. Endowment Fund Committee election the Constitution requires that be elected at the annual meeting. The members of that, there's 3 members with 3-year terms. Kathy Burhop her term is up and she is stepping down from that. She has some health issues she's dealing with. So, Mary, is there a nomination for the endowment?
Yes, I believe Jerry Carncross.
So,
Lyle Hendrickson seconded.
Jerry Congross has been nominated for the endowment committee. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Thank you, Jerry. He's not unfamiliar with that. He's been kind of a liaison to that for a long time as well. Next item is the nominating committee. That's a 3-member committee, and it's 3 fresh people each year. So thank you to Mary and Buck Bender and who else is on that? Cheryl Pendleton for being on that committee this year. Our Constitution says that an outgoing member of the council is to be on that nominating committee. So I believe Bill Schleichert has agreed to be that member. So do we need 2 additional members.
Sherry Nelson has agreed, and Sue Kozansky.
Okay,
What were the names again?
Sherry Nelson, Sue Pozansky, and William Schleichert.
I'll take it under one condition. When I call you on the phone, I don't hear no.
So, no is not an option. We should have implemented that this year. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you for those 3 individuals to operate on that nominating committee. And the president will notify you of what positions are up about October or so. Not this president. Let's see. We need appointment of the delegates to the 2024 Synod Assembly. That is May 17th through the 18th, it's a Friday, Saturday in Janesville. And you will receive a packet on what's being voted on. So, and Pastor Sterling usually meets and goes through those, and if there's any resolutions or, I don't believe there's a bishop election at this one.
God no.
Is there anyone, husband and wife, it doesn't have to be, but if there's, I think Judy Brownrigg and Mary did that last year. The bills?
That Friday evening, in case you're worried about the 2 days, is a fellowship time and social time. We tried the 1 day last year, and so many of us spend time away from the business meeting, reconnecting, that they think they sort of said, hey, we need to have some fellowship time. So I think the business is all gonna just happen on Saturday, and that's the absolute critical place you need to be at.
Do we have any volunteers to go to that? It's enlightening. Bill, you and Holly?
I would be interested, yes.
Holly, would you accompany Bill? Well, you can stay overnight and make a date night out of it. Okay, we have Bill and Holly. Do I need a nomination for that?
So moved.
Bill, second?
Second.
I'll second.
Kyle? Christie. A motion by Schleicher, second by Kyle. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Bill and Holly.
Bill, you need to go back up.
I need to go back to elections, don't I? Okay. We have, first, the presidential election. What we'll do is there's the council delegates, the vice president and president are all up, and I have a ballot printed for those. And there is room on that ballot to write in any nominations from the floor. So we can do that. But I will start with the president, and then we'll do the vice president, and then the council, the 4 council delegates. So, the president, who would like to inherit? Yes. There's some responsibility with being president, I won't deny that. But I think there's some reward there too. You really understand what it takes to operate this church. And the main responsibility is just to set agenda for the council meeting, run that council meeting, get the agenda out to the council members, and just kind of, oversee that. That's the biggest job, if you will. I've set up a calendar that says, here's what you do each month, and as best I can to make that as easy as possible. I'm certainly willing to mentor anyone that becomes president, and if you'd like me to go to the first meeting to get you going, I'll be more than happy to do that. I have pretty much every document that is required on a disc or on a stick, so you don't have to invent a whole lot of forms or anything. Pretty much anything you need is on that stick, along with templates for everything. I'm a template guy. I mean, I ran a one-man business, and so I had to be efficient, and so I've tried to make that part of presidency efficient as well. With that said, I would entertain a nominee for president.
So is it all right for me to nominate my wife, Karen?
You have to go home with her if she'll let you.
Yeah, it's tapping you right now. I just want to share, so Bill Buckley and our bills have been excellent models of a way to be a president of a congregation. But everyone will do this job differently. So if you were looking at the way they have been and said, oh, I can't do that, I don't have the space or time or whatever it is, they've been a real blessing to me as a first call pastor on how much they've been around. But you can do this job in a faithful way, and it can be different than the way they've done it. And that is okay. And they may have opinions, other people may have opinions, but if you are nominated, you accept the nomination, and you're elected, then it's your call, and it's your ministry. And so don't be intimidated. Like, you have plenty of people who know what they're doing around here, and who love you and will help you and support you, so.
Exactly. And I've been a witness to that. And, you know, I've had people tell me that, oh gee, I don't have to write an article. I'm not a writer. Well, you think I'm a writer? Yeah, I hate writing. If you don't know what to say, just, you know, tell them about your outdoor experiences. It fills in some space. Yeah, you can do a verse. It doesn't have to be done the way I've been writing them. Is that a nomination?
Yes, it
You
is.
accept the nomination, Karen?
I think we should open it and see if anybody else.
Well, we are. It's open. The nominations are open.
Oh, I did, oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, nominations are open.
Sharon Campbell.
Are there any other nominations from the floor?
I move the nominations be closed.
The motion has been made to close the nominations for president.
He's got to ask 3 times.
Second by Bill. Is there any other discussion?
There will be.
And because the nomination came from the floor, the ballot will be blank. So you just need to write Karen Bender in there and vote on the ballot. So, not a problem. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate it. Karen and I have had some discussion. Goodbye. You will be fine, and I'll take care of you. Okay, nomination for vice president.
Nomination for Vice President Paul Knudsen.
Paul?
I'll second that.
Who is that?
Buck.
Okay.
Mary Thompson made nomination. Are there any other nominations from the floor? I would entertain a motion to close the nominations for vice president.
So move.
Second.
Mike Keller, second. Mike Keller, second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, again, our Constitution requires that those be by written ballot, so we'll get to that shortly. Council delegates. Mary?
For council delegates, we have Bill Christie, Brad do I do all of them?
Yeah.
Brad Simplot, Buck Bender, and Carla Sones.
Clara Sones?
Clara, I'm sorry. That's okay.
No?
What? I told you to get Al Bilsey, and you said you can't, because Joe's already on the council, so.
You can't have husband and wife on the, as officers. But one can be officer, one can be a delegate.
Okay, so how many positions are we filling?
There's 4.
Mary, can you read those again?
Brad,
I'll just give Brad a list. Yeah. Here you go.
Brad and Bill are on council at present time, and they are eligible for another term, so they have graciously agreed to a re-election. So, Clara, you may not know Clara. Clara, would you stand up, please? Clara is a youth here. Last Wednesday, I met with Clara and her mother, and 3 or 4 other young ladies and their mothers, and described the council job, and we had a really good little meeting, and that has inspired them to continue their faith journey in this capacity, and I'm just excited. I'm just excited, and I really appreciate a young person, and as busy as young people are today, to agree to be on this church council and take on that responsibility. And I have a lot of respect for her parents as well, that are allowing her to do this and backing her in this. And, you know, we'll have to get her to the meetings, and they are certainly welcome to be a part of that council as well. It's an open meeting, so to have a few more people sitting in there would be a good thing. So, thank you. Pastor Stroh?
I have a point of inquiry. What does our Constitution say about a baptized but unconfirmed member serving on council?
Okay. We've had a lot of discussion about this, actually. Our Constitution requires that to be a voting member of the council, you have to be confirmed, and you have to have given either time or financially and communed. So the way this can work is that, and I've discussed this with Clara, is that we can elect her to the council, but she will not have a vote on the council until she is confirmed in April. So the May meeting, she will have as much right to vote as any other member on that council. And as I told her, she can get another term in. She can, before she graduates high school. So. Awesome opportunity, Decorah. Are there any other nominations on the floor? If not, I'd entertain a motion to close the nominations for council delegates.
So moved.
I second Sharon Gander.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, oh, I can't do that. We got a paper vote. Please raise your hand if you're a voting member, and you will receive a ballot. If you would like to vote for, add Karen Bender under the president portion of that.
Move by acclamation?
Under,
There's nobody to choose from. So just move by acclamation and accept it?
under Robert's rules, if your constitution requires a written ballot, it has to be a written ballot.
Oh.
You cannot use the unanimous vote. Kyle, you had a question? Yep. While you're filling out your ballots and they're being collected, give those to Mary Thompson, and Bill is going to present the Stuart Mitchell academic scholarships to our 2 recipients.
Now we get to do some fun stuff. Woo-hoo! You know, there's a lot of things that we do in this job as president, vice president. A lot of it is maybe not not as fun as others. But one of the greatest joys I get is giving away money to our younger kids in this congregation. And I shouldn't call them kids, they're actually young adults. And it just gives me so much joy to know that these kids are going on to get a higher education and that we can help them out. Emma Glazer, are you here? Come on up. Brandon Romas, come on down. Emma, you're over there. Brandon, you're over here. Now, what are you doing at school? What are you studying from?
I'm studying computer science
And where?
at UW Madison.
Okay. And what year are you in?
It's either freshman or junior. I had credits going in, but it's my first year there.
All right, that's great.
A lot of
That's great.
colleges.
Brandon, where are you going to school?
I'm going to UW Eau Claire.
Okay, and?
I'm studying environmental public health.
Oh, super. Very good. And what year are you in?
I'm a freshman, but I have about sophomore level credits.
Oh, okay, very good. Well, on behalf of the Core Lutheran Church and the Stour Mitchell Education Scholarship Fund, I have $1,000 for you, and I have $1,000 for you.
All right.
One more shot.
All right.
Okay. There we go. Thank you.
As you all know, Bill and I have been kind of like the Bopsy twins for the last couple of years. And we've been kind of fumbling through this leadership stuff. And so, Bill's been involved in a lot of things other than leadership as well. So I just wanted to recognize that today as he steps down from vice president. And if this looks like a retired forester did it, that's exactly right. In appreciation for all you've done for us and for making this church part of your great walk. Thank you.
Wow.
Turn it around, Mr. Schleicher. I can't read through that.
What does it say?
It says Certificate of Appreciation. This certificate is presented as a token of appreciation to William Schleicher for your dedicated service to God's mission here at the Core Lutheran Church.
Nice.
And he's got various things around it that I have.
Read.
Oh, boy. So, Habitat for Humanity, Mission of Hope, the Core Men for Christ, Lutheran Men in Mission, Yellow Bags, Council Vice President, Stour Mitchell, Thrive in Choice, Council Delegate, Council President, and DLC Property Projects. So,
And I'm gonna miss some.
Wow. Men's group
That's all right.
president.
you do these things, and I've often talked about the shoulder tap thing. And to me, it's very, very real. And it probably sounds corny and hokey, but God does talk to me. And He talks to each and every one of you. You just got to listen, and it'll happen. And it's not a thundering voice from on high. It's not God in a burning bush like He did with Moses. But He does talk to you. And he gives you that tap on the shoulder, and sometimes he gives you a kick in the pants. And it's, get off your butt and do this, because somebody needs help, because your church needs help, because your community needs help. And all you gotta do is look. All you gotta do is be available. And it's simple little things. You're at the grocery store, somebody drops something, you help them pick it up. You see somebody struggling in a parking lot, you help them out. You just be there for other people. You put them ahead of yourself. And that's what I've always felt that I have done here at Decorah, in making my decisions, either with Bill, or when I was president. And it's always, what is the best for the people in this congregation? And going ahead and doing it and getting it accomplished. And hats off to you guys, because you have responded. You have responded very well. When I think of all the things we do, and I stand here and I look at this blue carpeting on the floor, and you guys did that. And it was great. And just all the other projects that we managed to do. I don't know, if we added up all the money that this congregation has donated to the various projects that we've done in the last 5-6 years. It's enormous. It's enormous. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to lead you guys, to be a part of this leadership team, and to just be a part of this family, because you are family. You are my friends.
Mary, did you count them?
Yeah, 46.
Okay, we had 51 ballots. That's awesome. It's a good turnout. Might be a record, I don't know. But thank you. Our next president is Karen Bender. And she left already. Oh, there she is. Thank you, Karen. Vice President Paul Knutson. Paul has been on council and has kind of taken that next step, and hopefully those steps continue. So thank you, Paul. Council delegates, Bill and Brad, thank you for returning. And Buck and Clara, welcome aboard. And I need to make sure I have your email addresses and phone numbers before you leave today, so we can get you on the list for the agendas. Before we leave these nominations, I'd like to take a moment to thank Larry Johnson for his service on the as a council delegate. And Larry has decided to step down, but we appreciate your past service, Larry. Is there any other business?
We thank the nominating committee. They had a really hard job this year.
Yep.
I think they made a lot of phone calls. I think they People still haven't taken their poinsettias home, and so I think they each should have a poinsettia.
I agree.
Bill Fleischner, maybe you could take a poinsettia home.
I wanted to say something about Clara. This week I saw on Facebook that Clara got an award at school, and it was the Presidential Award for volunteerism.
That's impressive. You probably have actually more experience than most of the other members that are on council now. So, thank you all for taking on that responsibility. And I think that, I think Decorah is in a good place, you know, right now. Finances will always be a challenge. But I think we're healthy. Hopefully we can grow a little bit each year. But I think we're in a good place, and I feel really comfortable with the leadership team that's going to continue on here. So thank you. I would like to thank all of you for the support, the patience that you've given me over the last 3 years. There's been some highs and there's been some lows, but the highs definitely make it worthwhile, and the lows, they're the challenges. But this congregation has been extremely resilient and taken on those challenges and worked through them, and here we are today. And that's a lot to be proud of. All of the teams that, you know, you've got so many groups that are doing so much, and it's such valuable ministry. And from having the facility, you know, well kept and maintained, to, I mean, the office manager, we got a gem, folks. Oleg is just awesome. He's not a Lutheran, but by golly, he sure acts like one. So we're converting him slowly. And he'll be playing here in February, so while Ann goes on vacation. So if you see Oleg, thank him for what he does. He's an awesome person and a pretty darn good office manager as well. You know, our education here is really active. If I would encourage you to just sit in the back of the church during Sunday school when they're getting together and stuff. There's a lot of energy, and that's really awesome. We've got a good core group of young individuals that will be going to, you know, some of those will be going on the July trip to New Orleans. I think that with Clara and her, I have agreed to, and maybe I shouldn't have, but they're pretty close friends. So when we had our meeting, they said, well, can we do it as a group? And I said, well, you can do it as a group, but Clara has the vote. So I encourage them to be there, and I think they may show up and listen through the meeting, and boy, that's exciting. That's really, really, really exciting. I think that I stood up here last year and I said, do we know if the community even cares, other than that we got a pretty orange light at night across when you go over the hill? But other than that, does anybody really notice or care, or, you know, are we just doing our own thing? And I held up a plaque, and we had been given the Poynette Church Community for 2022. Well, guess what? We've been chosen as the 2020 church. Back-to-back years, folks. That's not bad. So my challenge is, we want this in 24 too. So I've talked to Pastor, and we believe that we will have a hall of fame, or wall of fame, and we'll just keep putting these up. It's not why we do mission for the recognition, but it is nice to know that the community knows we're here and appreciates what we're doing, I think. So this is yours, folks, and congratulations. We also, this year, there was a resolution, I think, at the Synod, and they asked for each congregation to look at a kind of an environmental plan, and they called it Care of Creation Plan. And it's just to make congregations think about the environment and our impact to that environment. And so Sheila Link, pastor's daughter, assisted the council to put together a Care of Creation Plan. And it kind of outlines what we're doing that's good for the environment, and then some things that we potentially could do. And I think that the council actually voted to keep this on the agenda each month so that we don't forget about it, so it doesn't collect dust somewhere. But if you'd like a copy of this, I would take a look at it. It's pretty simple reading, and it's the ideas, there's lots of different ideas. And so as we move along, and this is probably my background and profession, this fits in pretty well with that. So I'm kind of excited to get some of this stuff implemented, but just wanted you to be aware of that that's out there, and that we are going to be trying to implement some things here, like the lights, to make us more environmentally better. So before I ask for...
Can I just ask a question? Is that something that can be condensed and put in a newsletter? Or no?
It's about 20 pages,
Oh, never mind.
so probably not. But we could put it on the website, a link to it on the website. And we can have some copies. If you want a copy, let Oleg know, and we can get you a copy of it.
I can send it out in my weekly messages.
Okay. Okay, that'll work really good. Thank you, Bill. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I want to mention something. How many of you remember the lady's name Brenda, who came and spoke with us when she was a missionary in the country of Honduras? You remember her? Tremendous talk she gave us.
Yeah.
And she's been working there a few years, and right now, she's still there, but not like constantly. She had to go get a job. And, but she's not working through the whatever corporation or whatever it was in Madison anymore. She's working through a church in Portage. She attends a church there called City of Refuge, and it's up there on Albert Street or Herbal Street, which is on the other side of the viaduct. Anybody knows Portage? And, but if you, some of you I know might be helping her a little bit, you know, to continue her work in Honduras, but, she had to, stop her continuous to get a job. But anyway, she has changed from being supported through this thing in Madison down up to Portage, City of Refuge. And if anybody wants to start, continue, or any knowledge, she's still there. And she will be still working in Honduras, but not constantly. Is there anything that you could say that would make it more clear?
She still loves to have any kind of financial support she can. The programs still continue down there, even though she is living here pretty much permanently now. She will be going back. Her new job is allowing her to go back in 2-week increments 4 times a year. So she will be going back to Honduras. They've had 2 new babies down there that her group is supporting. And they support about 75 to 100 kids year-round. So any kind of financial support, they're putting backpacks together, is greatly appreciated, and
Thank you, Margot. Always looking for missions to support here. We've done a good job
And
with
another
that.
thing, you know, I think we mentioned all the missions and how much money is spent to everything, but we've never said how much money goes to yellow bags, because we can't. But when I go grocery shopping and I take my bags out, how much does each bag cost me? Have you ever figured that out? Now, I remember when it used to be about $10 a
Yeah,
bag.
I think it's about 30 now, don't you?
Oh, at least $30 a bag. So let's say we've got 20 bags up here, 20 times 30, how much is it? And I think we should acknowledge the fact that our congregation, that much money, more money is given to mission as in local.
Yeah, I think everybody's aware of the price of groceries. So that's a bigger challenge for folks that don't have a lot of resources. So it is an important ministry here. And let me tell you, the food pantries definitely appreciate Decora's, the food and items they bring in. I know Lodi has made the comment that we're the only church that does a monthly thing. You know, some of them will do a whole bunch for Christmas and then nothing till the next Christmas. But Decora is the only one that does monthly consistently, and that's really big when they're trying to manage their. They told me the same thing in Arlington. Yeah, so yeah, so that's something maybe we don't think about that ministry, is that it's a continuous monthly time, because those folks need assistance all year long, not just at holidays. So, is there any other business that we to bring up from the floor? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Sharon Campbell. Peggy Benson, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you for taking time out of your day.
Take a big round of applause for Mr. Buckley.
Bill, can you send us off in peace?
Oh, do I need the slide? I don't have it.
All right, well, I'll do it. Church, go in peace. You're God's beloved.
Thanks be to God.